Joining us now, Dr. Li-Meng Yan. She's the first whistleblower doctor of the corrupt CCP, saying that COVID-19 is a CCP bioweapon. You saw her a few nights ago on Tucker Carlson. She's also been interviewed in some of the biggest networks in America, and she's joining us now. On December 31st, Dr. Yan was an eyewitness to what she describes as a Communist Party of China cover-up, CCP cover-up, and the Lab of Origin, after an initial broadcast of what she uncovered by the U.S.-based blogger Lou Day on January 19th. The CCP mounted a massive pressure and cyber propaganda campaign against her and began threatening to disappear her. Dr. Yan fled Hong Kong on April 28th and has been living in a safe house in the U.S. since then, so she is safe right now in a safe house. Dr. Yan, I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks for being with us today.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Yan, you've been through so much, risking your life and that of your family members in order to get the story out. Can you tell us what exactly, in your view, with your research, happened at that lab in Wuhan?
What I can briefly tell you is, first, Chinese Communist Party knew this from the very early beginning because they knew that it's not a natural origin new coronavirus, that is not from bat, not from pangolin, not from any innocent wild animal or seafood market. This virus from the beginning is the one based on the Chinese military discover and own the unique Zhoushan bat coronavirus. And after modification, using those expertise from the Chinese Communist Party influenced and controlled labs, finally, from the non-harmful virus, become the highly contagious, invisible, and also lethal virus as we know now. And Chinese Communist Party government purposely released this one from the lab. It's definitely not caused by the lab accident because, as we know, this is a very terrible virus. It's not a common thing. It not stays in the common lab. It comes out from the P4 lab in Wuhan, the highest biosafety lab in the world. And the Chinese Communist Party make up a lot of lies, collaborate with their friends like WHO, like the people in the scientific world, and to cover it up and distract people's attention, make you believe their lies and listen to them. That is basically the whole story.
So, Dr. Yan, are you saying that the CCP and the Chinese military manufactured this virus in their lab? I understand that. How was it released? Was that by accident? Did somebody drop a vial? I mean, how was this released into Wuhan originally? Why and how was it released?
Why? That is their motive. Still, as I said, for example, if you want to ask the killer, why did he kill the person? You always need to ask the killer himself. So this motive, we need to know it from the Chinese Communist Party itself. But what I can tell you is, based on my experience in the P3 lab, in the WHO reference lab in Hong Kong, which is the top emerging disease lab in the world, I can tell you that P3 lab, P3 plus lab, and also P4 lab, they have very, very strict protocol. So they have the 24-hour, 7 days surveillance. They have the specific team to monitor you, to help you. They did the background checking by government to the people get into that lab. And also they get your training after examination and then do the work under the company with other people. Basically, you get into that type of the lab and you as a person will be the only one come out alive. No pathogen, no animals, even the naive ones can come out alive. They are destroyed. This is a very strict procedure. Government is not stupid. they know how dangerous this type of the lab is. So they definitely won't allow the accident things come out. And if this come out, that is intentionally released. Also, we have other intelligence, but just based on my experience, you can already understand it.
What you're saying is that it is very, and I want to be sure I understand what you're saying, Dr. Yan, with us.
Sure.
That it is very unlikely, you're saying, that this was released by accident, that there's too many protocols in place. You're saying that it's very unlikely that this was an accident getting it released. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, it cannot happen. And also, once it is accidentally released, it is easy to be held under control. I mean, you may say that Chinese government start to do the propaganda these days that, oh, we have this kind of accident some years before, and we have that kind of biosafety things happen. Some people get infected. But remember, first, that is a common pathogen from the common labs. And the second thing is this type of lab accident, because of lack of surveillance in some common labs, never lead to big outbreak or pandemic. But the SARS-CoV-2 things, as we know, COVID-19 is a historic pandemic. Besides, Chinese Communist Party plays a critical role in this pandemic. So they are the one cover up the things, not go to put anyone should be responsible if this is an accident. And also they are the one tell the world no human to human transmission until I reveal it on 19th January, and they have to admit it within hours. And then they are the one who locked down Wuhan, but still let people go around the world. They are the ones surprise WHO and the scientific world to collaborate with them to be obedient and to get benefit during working with them. And they are the one who later spread a lot of fake news, lies. Even as we know, they try to blame it to U.S., to outer space. So all these things together, I'm sure people will understand, just judge by the common sense, that if it is not intentionally released, who would spend so much time and cost to do this? Hilarious, right?
Fascinating, some of the things that you're saying here. Number one, again, we appreciate your being with us. We know how dangerous it is for you to be out and about. Dr. Li-Meng with us, first whistleblower doctor of the CCP. So what a lot of people can't understand is that the CCP obviously knew this was highly contagious and dangerous. That's why they locked down Wuhan and restricted travel to Beijing. Yet they allowed residents of Wuhan to fly to the West, Italy, United States, San Francisco, Europe. Why would they allow Chinese in Wuhan that might have been infected? They knew the disease could be spread between humans. Why did they allow them to fly to Italy, Europe, U.S., but not Beijing? Why couldn't they? They couldn't get out of Wuhan into China, but they could fly to Europe and to the United States. Why?
Yeah, so very simple, based on the bad idea to harm people. So that is a very simple reason for that. And those officers, senior people, important people in the CCP, they stay in Beijing. So they have to lock down Beijing. And do you know, not only lock down Beijing at that time, I think people in U.S. may not know that even until April, before I fly to U.S., I know that in Beijing city, if people go to the suburb at that time, although Chinese Communist Party claimed 0 cases for months, still they don't allow people to free go into and out of Beijing downtown. So even if you go to the suburb, you have to be careful. If you go a little bit further, you may not get back because you need to get quarantined. See how scared the government is. They just care about themselves, but they don't mind this is a highly contagious lethal virus which lead to the pandemic and break down the economy and global health. Terrible things.
Do you believe, based on your research and analysis, Dr. Yan, the original experimentation where the virus was developed, was this just done in order to, as part of their regular research on viruses, or was this developed as a potential bioweapon? What do you think?
Okay, I have 5 years experience after I got my MD and PhD from the two top medical universities in China. So the 5 years experience in the top coronavirus lab and emerging disease lab in the WHO reference lab make me know that definitely this is not for any good medical purpose to study the virus and put it to the gain of function procedure. I work on virology, immunology, and vaccine development. I have my universal influenza vaccine patent on pending now. So this virus, basically, as I explained before in other media, it's like you want to give your kid a toy gun. So you have to change your gun, like remove the bullet or make the cover into plastic to make it not harmful. But somehow, after the lab procedure in China, so this gun actually become with the bullet, with the sharp knife, and even you put a missile on top, and then you give your kid that, oh, this is for good purpose. I just want to make a toy for you. So that's how it looks like.
Unbelievable, Dr. Yan. I really appreciate, I can't say enough, your courage in coming forward with this. So in the U.S., we can try to figure it out. Based, again, on your research, your analysis, how close do you think the U.S. is to formulating an effective vaccine for this?
I think finally, based on my belief in the scientific technique, development, finally, we would find a way to overcome it. But the first thing you have to understand is this is a virus not from nature. So we have to fully understand this thing because it is after modification enhanced and target human. How to fully understand it, except for the evidence I provide in my scientific report, you also need to do the thorough investigation to know how did they do to get this virus modified. So that means thorough investigation for those scientists, no matter whether they are Chinese or whether they are in China. So the people who get collaborated to help Chinese Communist Party to work on this, they and their work has to be thoroughly investigated. And also, I want to remind people that this is intentionally come out from the lab. And in the virology lab, when you do the project, you never only have one virus. The virus can mutate. Also, you make a group of candidates every time, and then select the better one or the one you want to use. So that means we have to eliminate this kind of risk from the root. You have to go there to do investigation. You have to hold the people and Chinese Communist Party to be accountable. Then that's the time you can develop the way to overcome, to remove this risk from our lives.
Dr. Yan, so as I understand it, this is vaccine possible, but you're saying it's got to get after the roots of this because you're not fighting an organic virus that just developed or came from a bat or something. That this is man-made. This is man-made.
Yeah. And also they may have more other candidates, to release. They definitely have candidates, but when will they release? What type of candidate will it be? And that is a horrible thing. We have to stop it.
So when you say they have other candidates to release, can you clarify that?
As I said, when you do the experiment in virology, very simple thing is you never just have one strain because this one it's easy to get mutant. For example, just we talk about this coronavirus. It's an easy mutant virus. And during the experiment, there may be some random mutant or there may be some other functional part you want examine whether it works with the virus, whether it can make it more lethal. So you will do it like you play Lego. You play the puzzle. You just put them together and see the result. And you may think, I want highly contagious one rather than the highly lethal one. Or I want to have similar function in both sides. I mean, just like this, so they will have A, B, C, D, E, different type of candidate. And finally, the SARS-CoV-2 virus we see from Wuhan, it can be just one of things. They may be after optimal, they saw that is the best one, or maybe they just choose one of their candidates. You have to go to ask the one who exactly working on that. What I can provide you is just from my first scientific report, read the reference list with over hundreds of publications from the CCP type scientists and the people working with them or people study this type of topic. You will see that there are a lot of experience in handling such virus, in learning how to use it, in learning how to work on that. So that's what I mean. You always need to be alarmed that more type of things can be released because it already happened.
Unbelievable. Scary stuff. Dr. Li-Meng Yang, you're very courageous in coming forward. I wish you all the best. We're going to have you back as we follow this story and follow you. And I hope you stay safe. But thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
I hope U.S. people will realize the truth. They need to understand it.
Thank you, Doctor.
Go to verify by yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yan. Thank you very much. John Fredericks Radio Network.